yeah. Sky is falling, metal rain, chaos mornings, no one's sane. Crumbling towers, streets in flames, forgotten heroes, who knows their names? Broken futures, shattered dreams, end of times ain't what it seems.
Hello friends, this is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today is May 20th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. Quite a bit to go over. We're on Iran war day number 82. Trump says he has a 99% approval rating in Aardvark land, and he may run for president there or prime minister there when he's done destroying America. So we have that to look forward to. It's very exciting. So the back and forth between Trump and America and Iran, we got that to cover. As again, Khomeini still the supreme leader of Iran, and the Strait of Hormuz is still essentially closed with U.S. Central Command policing it. We'll cover all that. We will cover all of that. We have a little bit of public health news. We have economic news, geopolitical news, China, Russia, Xi, and Putin having a big meeting over there in China. We'll cover that. We have other geopolitical news. The leveling of Lebanon continues. The leveling of Gaza continues. The genocide continues. We'll cover all of that and much more on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. As people are jumping online right now, let me just check the chat there on the Rumble. Shout out to Karen, to Thomas, and to Snow. Just one day without Masonic theater. Is that too much to ask? Snow says. Is Snow, are you banned on the X? I think you are. Maybe you are. They did the same thing. By the way, Snow, if you're listening, they did the same thing to our former co-host here, Simon, on his X account. They said he was spam, and pretty much the same thing they did to your account there. So you're in good company there. It's just so ridiculous. The level of censorship, man. It's so insane. We have to speak in code. We're going to have to start speaking in sign language, the sign language interpreter on the side that they do. You know what I mean? And they'll still, hey, did you do a obscene hand gesture? It's just like, my gosh, the level of censorship is just off the charts here now in free America. Man. And the funny thing, everything's flipped from the bat times. You used to be able to say stuff on X. I still had to speak in code for like 2.5 years about the bat stuff. But I was able to, under Dorsey, when Dorsey was the boss over there at X, I stayed on there through all the bat times and was literally banned off of everything else. Right? Now it's literally flipped, and you could halfway speak on Facebook, YouTube, the big text, right? And you can't speak on X now. I'm literally banned into oblivion, shadow banned into oblivion. So everything flips. It's all political. It's all ridiculous. The anti-weaponization of government, I looked into that because I was like, they literally burned my digital store down, destroyed, I don't know how many years, 15 years worth of work on the YouTube over there. So did some economic damage to me for sure. But the anti-weaponization fund is only for those targeted directly by the government, IRS and whatever the rest of the feds, FBI and the whole crew. But if you're indirectly affected with the feds in the ear of big tech telling them censor everybody because they're questioning public health policy, Then you have no recourse whatsoever, and they literally laugh. We burned down your store. Ha ha ha. The bats are still out to get you. Ebola fruit. It's coming from fruit bats. How about this, genius scientists? Leave the freaking rats and bats alone, man. Just leave them alone, for God's sake. All right, let's get to this day in history. Just ridiculousness. Yes. Here now we face, as we go headlong into technocracy. They're building it out as we speak. Okay, on this day in history, May 20th, we go back to the year 526. And there was a couple major earthquakes. This one was very major. We don't even know because of the records, right? But possible date we're estimating here. Antioch earthquake in the Byzantine Empire, which is now present-day Syria, estimated to kill 200,000 people. So quite a tragic earthquake there. And then we fast forward on this day to the year 1293. And again, we saw another major earthquake, this time earthquake hitting Kamakura, Japan, and that killed an estimated 30,000 people. So some tragic earthquakes on this day in our history. 1521 on this day, Ignatius Loyola was seriously wounded by a cannonball. Imagine that. That would hurt, getting shot by a cannonball. That would definitely hurt. On this day, 1861, we had quite a few events. 1861, Kentucky proclaims its neutrality in the Civil War. Well, now it's just an aardvark vassal state, right? Or some say out there. It's rumored on the internet that's the case for Kentucky. Also on this day, 1861, North Carolina becomes the 11th state and last state to secede from the Union. And also on this day in 1861, U.S. Marshals, in search of secessionist evidence, seized the previous year's telegraph dispatches. That's what I'm talking about. They've been spying going back to 1861 on the freaking telegraph dispatches. Is how much this government loves to spy on everybody. 1862 on this day, then U.S. President Abraham Lincoln signs into law the Homestead Act to provide cheap land for the settlement of the American West and genocide of the American Indians. 80 million acres by the year 1900. On this day in 1864, we saw the Battle of Ware Bottom Church in Virginia, part of American Civil War. Estimated 1,400 were killed there, tragically. 1873, on this day, Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis patent the first blue jeans with copper rivets, your classic Levi's jeans, denim jeans. On this day in 1932, Amelia Earhart departs Newfoundland on her journey to become the first woman to fly solo nonstop across the Atlantic. Quite an aviation achievement there. On this day in 1940, another great aviation achievement, we saw the first U.S. helicopter flight, first successful helicopter flight in the United States. Vought Sikorsky VS-300 design by Igor Sikorsky demonstrated to the public at Bridgeport Airport in Stratford, Connecticut. In 1940 on this day. 1944 on this day, U.S. Communist Party dissolves. On this day, 1961, white mob attacks freedom riders in Montgomery, Alabama. On this day in 1970, 100,000 march in New York supporting U.S. policies in Vietnam. Reminds me of those Kentucky neocon Fox News war lovers, voters in Kentucky. Huh? Yeah. And 2015, on this day, we saw 5 major banks, JP Morgan Chase, Barclays, Citigroup, RBS, and UBS, are fined $5.7 billion for manipulating currency markets. One of the largest fines ever. And no one gets in trouble from the banks criminally. They pay a fine, the cost of doing business, and the scam continues. All right. On this day in our civil liberties history, we have a few events to mention here. We go back to the year 1966. On this day in our civil liberties history, quote, "The Big Snoop," Life magazine cover story exposes government spying. A Life magazine cover story, "The Big Scoop," exposes intrusive surveillance by federal agencies, including the IRS and the post office. The story was based on the hearings by Missouri Senator Edward V. Long and reflected growing public concern about privacy and the dangers of government snooping. The full story of spying and other abuses by federal intelligence agencies was not known until the post-Watergate investigations by the Senate Church Committee, created on January 27, 1975, and the House Pike Committee, created on February 19, 1975. The Church Committee published a set of reports documenting the violations of rights of Americans by several federal agencies: the FBI wiretapping, electronic surveillance, opening mail, the CIA opening mail, secretly funding individual writers and reporters, and funding organizations, i.e. Operation Mockingbird, still alive and well today. Check your clownfluencer that you follow. They're probably propped up by the government. The post office opening mail, and various branches of the military. And so we do appreciate all of that tyranny. And now they just scoop up all of our electronic communications via metadata, and it's stored over there at that big spy warehouse in Utah. And now private technocracy is trying to one up the government and building 60 plus square acre complex of technocratic tyranny there in Utah, and we must praise it, or else drones will arrive shortly. So yeah, they won't be happy until a flock camera's up everybody's rear end here. Now I'm telling you, it's just, they're totally secret and above the law. Here we have flock cameras up everybody's rear end checking for your prostate because we care about your public health. I mean, and national security, of course, because there may be a terrorist hiding up your rear end as well. Continuing here, 1968, on this day in our civil liberties history, Supreme Court, illegitimate children are persons with rights. In the case of Levy versus Louisiana, decided on this day, the Supreme Court held that under the meaning of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, so-called illegitimate children were persons and thereby have a constitutional right to sue on behalf of their deceased parents. The decision was part of the rights explosion of the 1960s, which involved political activism, cultural change, and court decisions expanding constitutional rights to vast new and previously neglected groups: African Americans, women, Native Americans, Latinos, students, teachers, the right to privacy, abortion, prisoners, gay and lesbian people, military personnel, and others. And then finally, on this day in our civil rights history, in the year 2015, Edward Snowden in exile savors recognition victories. 2 years after releasing NSA documents that expose massive illegal spying by the NSA, Edward Snowden remained in exile in Russia, but savored international recognition for his actions and a major victory in Congress. June 5th, 2013, for the first of the stories based on the Snowden released documents. A story in the New York Times on this day found that while Snowden is a fugitive from justice from the United States and reviled by virtually everyone in the US government, he was enjoying international renown, frequently speaking to groups around the world via telecommunications. So, yeah. Snowden also scored a major victory on June 2nd, 2015, when Congress reauthorized surveillance under the Patriot Act, October 26, 2001, but only with significant new restrictions. The law does not allow the government to collect and store bulk data, private communications, store phone and email records, and the government can obtain a record only with a subpoena from the FISA court. The law also ordered the secret FISA court to declassify some of the important decisions, adding a new degree of transparency to the court. Finally, the law allows private individuals to appear before the secret court to argue for privacy rights in particular cases. But that's not true, because we know the NSA is gathering up all of the metadata, but they're just not looking at it unless you're an interesting individual, and then they'll go ahead and take it upon themselves to target you because you may be a threat to their national security, i.e. tyranny. Okay, here's our segue to the news. Well, thankfully, and then the clips are backwards here, but this is a great segue to the news. Well, you'll hear it from Trump himself. Maybe he should leave right now and go be Prime Minister of Aardvark land, because we're not liking our shadow President Bibi. So maybe go over there and then you can be shadow President of America like Bibi.
I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for Prime Minister. So maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for Prime Minister. I had a poll this morning. I'm 99%. So that's good. But
how's any of that cool? Like, dude, because it's Aardvark land. It ain't cool if it's Russia, China, freaking name it. Papua New Guinea, bro. Whatever country, but it has to be Aardvark land. None of it's cool. You're supposed to be U.S. president of America, not Aardvark land. But yet here we are. And then here's the first half of that clip. And hey, they may be into some weird whips and chains. We know they're all Epsteined up. They may, who knows? Who knows what this is a reference to, honestly.
What have you said to Prime Minister Netanyahu about Iran and how long to hold off on strikes?
he's fine. He'll do whatever I want him to do. He's very, very good man. He'll do whatever I want him to do, and he said,
He'll do whatever I want him to do. Really? Kind of feels the opposite. Here's a billboard in Tel Aviv. Like, seriously, dude. Finish the job, really? Here's Tucker and Aardvark Land Channel 13 giving him the what for about it.
Maybe you're wrong by not seeing what is very blunt truth, that if the United States would cave in to Iran terror regime that controls now also the Hormuz passway and the terror ring that it created in the Middle East, maybe it would be even worse for any citizens in the world, not only in Israel, but also in the United States. And this is exactly what Donald Trump said. He said that the United States would have been in danger. So you don't believe Donald Trump?
I don't believe Donald Trump, and I also think as an Israeli, you should pause before using the phrase terror regime, since you live in a country that just murdered thousands of children in Gaza. We should all pull back.
Damn. So you got like what, a CIA and a Mossad on the television? But hey, Tucker's calling that out, so credit there for him. More from Trump. More from Trump here. What he's talking to somebody in Iran, he says. I don't even, is it still Kushner on the shoe phone? Maybe little Marco running around with a can? Man, we're on day 82. Still bold threats coming out of Trump's mouth.
John have to respond after you said yesterday you're about an hour away from making a decision. Where does that stand today? Have you heard anything from them?
Very, right on the borderline, believe me. If we don't get the right answers, it goes very quickly. We're all ready to go. We have to get the right answers. It would have to be a complete 100% good answers. And if we do, we save a lot of time, energy, and lives.
Everybody's fingers on the trigger. This thing's ready to go hot and heavy at any time. Aardvark Land Channel 14 here now exposes joint U.S. Aardvark Land commando plan to seize Iranian uranium. It's insane. Channel 4 out of Aardvark Land has exposed a joint U.S. Aardvark Land military blueprint to seize enriched uranium from Iran through a covert ground operation. The leak detailed a potential special forces raid near the Iranian city of Isfahan, revealing that the targeted stockpiles are stored underground at depths shallow enough to allow physical extraction by commandos. The disclosure directly contradicts previous Western intelligence claims that Iran's nuclear materials were buried too deep to be reached by military forces. The leaked operation details bypassed the official military censor, which later issued emergency order to scrub the highly sensitive broadcast materials from all online platforms. The exposed plan follows recent remarks by Bibi, who openly hinted at a feasible operation to physically remove the uranium following close coordination with Trump. While the media leak has compromised tactical surprise, the aggressive rhetoric underscores advanced U.S. Aardvark Land preparations to execute deep penetration raids inside Iran. That's a report out of the Cradle. What is up with this, man? They're worshiping that damn satanic Saturn cube. Anyhow, Trump halted planned U.S. attack on Iran following regional warnings over Hajj pilgrimage. Trump posted a scheduled military strike against Iran this week after Gulf allies and Washington officials cautioned restarting hostilities during the pilgrimage. Middle East Eye exclusively reveals, according to senior Gulf sources cited by the publication, Trump was warned that launching an offensive strike during the holy period would strand hundreds of thousands of Muslim pilgrims and cause severe long-term reputational damage to the United States across the Islamic world, as if that hasn't already been achieved. But they're all going there to Mecca to worship this freaking satanic black cube, man. And it's just all It's all very disturbing and dark. So don't whack them on their holy pilgrimage. There is what Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE dictator said to Trump, and allegedly said, well, then I'll just wait. But like he gives a damn about killing Muslims on their way, on their religious pilgrimage mission there to go worship the black box there of Saturn. Anyhow, that's the excuse they're using now as Trump backed off, as big talk of we're ready to attack anytime. According to Tasman News Agency, a source close to the negotiating team said after Iran submitted its 14-point proposal 3 days ago, the United States sent another text to Iran through the Pakistani mediator. Iran is currently reviewing the new proposal and has never yet responded. The Pakistani mediator, who is in Tehran, is seeking to bring the two texts closer together. Nothing has been finalized so far. Excuse me. Statements earlier today. Let's see, we had a few statements out of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, IRGC. First statement reads like this. They say, let the American aardvark enemy, which has not learned from the major and repeated strategic defeats before the Islamic Revolution, and has once again opened the door to threats, now that although they attacked us with all the capabilities of two armies that are considered among the most expensive in the world, we have not yet used all the capabilities of the Islamic Revolution against them. However, if the aggression against Iran is repeated, the regional war that was promised will this time go beyond the borders of the region, and you will be dealt crushing blows in places you do not expect, and we will fall into the abyss of defeat and destruction. We are people of war, and you will witness our power on the battlefield, not in hollow statements and virtual internet pages. So some strong threats there back from Iran. In another statement later in the day today, the IRGC said that 26 vessels, including oil tankers, container ships, and other commercial vessels, transited the Strait of Hormuz over the past 24 hours under the coordination and protection of the IRGC Navy. How can that even be? We blew up their Navy a bunch of times. They're all at the bottom of the sea. Trump told us. Huh? Well, I don't know. Somebody's lying. It says dirty Iranian IRGCs because we can trust in Trump, bro. More out of Ghalibaf here. Ghalibaf out of Iran. He had this to say. He said, we felt trapped in two unwinnable wars and a disproportionate share of fighters came from our neighborhood. And that's a quote from Mr. Technocracy, J.D. Vance, Vice President of America, fraud czar, from his Hillbilly Elegy, Chapter 11. And he also quotes Hillbilly 2 incoming. America's poor and forgotten will foot the bill for the Broligarchs, Diamond, the Demon, and the Beltway war merchants. And that's pretty accurate, sadly enough. Sadly enough, that's pretty damn accurate there. Hillbilly 2. Right? Maybe you can co-write it with J.D. Vance. U.S. Central Command earlier today in the Gulf of Oman, and it's in the Constitution that we're police of the world and required to police the Strait of Hormuz, obviously, right? Sure it is. U.S. Central Command earlier today says an Iranian-flagged commercial oil tanker suspected of attempting to violate the U.S. blockade by transiting toward an Iranian port. American forces released the vessel after searching and directing the ship's crew to alter course. U.S. forces continue to fully enforce the blockade and have now redirected 91 commercial ships to ensure compliance. And they put a nice little video out. I won't even play it, of them doing the whole repel off the helicopter and pirate the boat routine that we've come to know and love. Iran's newly announced Persian Gulf Strait Authority, PGSA, says it has established a controlled maritime zone in the Strait of Hormuz. We got double, triple, quadruple blockades going on here. They put up a map. Here's the map. We got blockades here, blockades here, blockades here, here. Like, damn, man. It's a hell of a thing to get through the Strait of Hormuz these days now, isn't it? So you could see right there on the map, areas under Iranian armed forces, oversight, Strait of Hormuz. So in this area, Iran saying they are controlling it. I guess out here, America's controls it. So wowzers. Wowzers. So not really much actually getting through. Here and there, some shipments are getting through, as is being reported, but in large part, it's closed. It's essentially closed. We'll get to those effects in the economic section. And of course, it's all fake, right? Michael Bay is developing a new movie for Universal Pictures about the real-life rescue mission that saved 2 U.S. pilots after their F-15E was shot down in Iran. Operation Epstein Fury, Epic Fury. That's out of Deadline. So, yeah, another faked up BS. What was the last one? When they killed bin Laden. And there's just a bunch of these war propaganda videos. How U.S. Special Forces are basically Supermen and can do no wrong. And that's just not the reality of the situation. I'm sad to report here now. But, yeah, some more war propaganda there out of Hollywood and Michael Bay. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I won't watch it. Sorry to report to you here. And then the Aardvark Mouthpiece newspaper over here acting like there's some type of media in America, Axios. Axios reporter Barack Ravid says Trump and don't they put out these fake stories every couple of weeks, month. Well, there's a rift between the two freaking mass murderers, Bibi and Trump. Says Trump and Bibi had a tense call earlier today over the new Iran peace proposal brokered by Qatar and Pakistan. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit, but here it is. There's always a falling out because Trump is just not, yeah, right. I don't believe it. I'm sorry there, Mr. Aardvark Mouthpiece man out of Axios. I just don't believe it because you've told us this story numerous times and it always comes out to be total BS per bombs dropping. In DTV reports here now that F-15s, F-35s, MQ-9 Reaper drones, U.S. report says 52 aircraft lost in Iran war. I thought, what? I thought we won the war. They have no Navy, no military, no nothing. But turns out, and somewhere down the line, I don't know, in 30 years or some nonsense, they're going to tell us the actual real number of U.S. soldiers killed and injured. And I'm still saying it's very underreported at 13 here now. I believe the government's lying to us about that. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But everything says that the government's lying to us. So we shall see. And again, it's just so tiresome. We've debunked Trump's nuke claims that, oh my gosh, if we didn't preemptively strike Iran and kill Supreme Leader Khomeini, then Iran was going to nuke us in 2 weeks. U.S. government official after U.S. government official after U.S. government official after U.S. government official has come out and said, oh yeah, ever since Bibi's been in charge over there, on and off over the last 20, 30 years, he sold us that he's come and pitched us the same BS, and everybody turned it down except for Trump. Right? Yeah. And we continue to report on it here, from freaking Skull and Bonesman John Kerry to former Defense Secretary Gates, and it goes on. And there's a bunch of them that Obama even, right? A bunch of them that came out and said, yeah, they told us that same routine. And we said, nah, not so much, as did U.S. intelligence community and our own State Department under Trump's administration. But hey, it's that they spread the propaganda all over Fox News, and idiots that watch the War Channel eat it up, I guess. It's just propaganda and lies in your face. Truly despicable. There was no imminent threat from Iran per U.S. intelligence community. State Department says we attacked them for aardvark land and our own self-defense, because essentially Iran built its country around our bases in the region. And Trump himself admitted that getting the nuclear materials essentially PR propaganda. He's even debunked his own claims. And it makes you wonder, well, I know why, because it's all rigged and fake. If we had a real free press in this country, every day they'd press it out of them and make them give up this BS story and debunk it. But they don't, because if they do, they'll get cut off access, and we can't have that, right? So we got to keep Mockingbird propaganda alive and well. You see the game they're playing here now. And probably most of them love it anyway, because they're freaking intel operatives in the media. Operation Mockingbird never ended. You see, it's just your clown influencers now on the internet, as well as your legacy media, in large part are propped up by the government. Sorry to report to you here now at Weaponized News. It's World Bee Day. They keep on going with these bee calms, and we went over the occult symbolism behind this. But the White House posted this today on World Bee Day, as they love glyphosate, which is a major contributing factor to killing off a bunch of pollinators, i.e. bees, which keep the whole ecosystem and planet running, they're essential to life on this planet. But what the hell? Spray them with Roundup and glyphosate for national security, and then turn around and tell me, oh yeah, we're celebrating World Bee Day. I'm sorry, it falls on deaf ears here now, bro, because you guys are full of crap. You don't give a damn about the environment or bees or anything else except for your own selfish self-interest. Here's World Bee Day again, with all the occult symbolism behind this, with old Jimmy Savile's best friend, King of England there, Charles, and Trump's ex-freaking hooker wife there. I mean, it's just, dude. Truly despicable. That's who these people are. Don't do drugs, kids, as they continue to push TrumpRx.gov. Just don't do affordability in action. How about don't buy any of their drugs? Don't buy any of their drugs, man. Oh, yeah. Affordability in action. TrumpRx.gov. Don't buy any of their drugs. Legal or illegal. Don't buy any of their drugs. The ticks. This is Nicholas Holscher about the ticks now, the weaponized ticks. He says Bill Gates has already spent more than $7.6 million creating genetically modified ticks designed to spread in the wild. In 2023, the Gates Foundation awarded Flatteer the cash to initiate development of a self-limiting tick designed to spread and control cattle ticks. Just leave the freaking nature alone, but they refuse to. They everything's weaponized against us. Bats, rats, ticks, fleas, freaking squirrels, go down the list. Are raccoons weaponized against us? I don't know, but man, there's the weaponization of ticks by the great philanthropist Bill Gates. Because he cares so much about the cattle ticks. And you know, there's organic solutions to all this stuff, but they can't patent that and profiteer off it and terrorize us with it, right? And so obviously we wouldn't want an organic solution. It has to be cooked up and genetically modified in their labs. Truly evil. It is truly evil and against nature, against natural law, against creation. Pure evil. Where's all the Christian outcry? Oh, they're yelling about, I love aardvark land all day. Good job, losers. Not all Christians, but the Christian Zionists especially. Just makes me sick to my stomach, man. And then again, to remind everybody, where did Lyme disease originate out of? Well, it turns out it appears that it originated out of Plum Island Bioweapons Lab. And again, I put this up. Everybody should go look at this great report. Actually, when we had some independent news channels in this country who would actually do some decent investigative reports, VVHTV News, there again did a report about Lab 257, interviewing its author of that book. It's right off the coast there, right off the East Coast, and that's where this whole thing started. Plum Island, right? So they go over a bunch of different bioweapons that they're developing at Plum Island and talk about Lyme disease in this interview. It's at Weaponized News X, but again, I'll post the link on Weaponized News Substack. It's about a 30-minute interview, and he goes about the guy's book, author Carroll, that wrote Lab 257, breaking it all down there. Michael Christopher Carroll, and this is from 2007 or 8, I believe. So very good interview and very well researched. So I would take a look at that if you're interested in the weaponization of everything against us here now. A piece of the puzzle there at Plum Island. Again, it'll be linked at Weaponized News Substack channel. As we move on from public health on to, the most money ever spent. Massey lost. We reported it last night. They're in the Kentucky Republican primary. And here's our friends at AIPAC celebrating their victory. Isn't it also wonderful? Ed Gallrain's victory in Kentucky and Clay Fuller's win in Georgia ensures two outspoken pro-aardvark voices are positioned to fill seats previously held by outspoken detractor Massey and MTG. Our community was proud to help pro-aardvark candidates win these races. Wowzers. Wowzers and wowzers. So they're pretty much telling you, bragging about it. So yeah, there you go. How about we get rid of Citizens United? We get rid of all lobbying, not just aardvark lobbying, all lobbying. How about that? We couldn't have that. We couldn't have that where Congress actually serves the tax-paying constituents that they're allegedly representing. God forbid we have that. There always has to be some special interest lobby that they're bribing Congress. And we went over the military-industrial complex scheme scam. They'll build a little widget in your district, and then you have to vote for war, or you're a bad person because you're going to shut down the little widget factory and take away the freaking 30 jobs or whatever in your district that it provided to be that little cog in the war machine. It's just beyond corruption. I mean, we're under tyranny here now. We ain't voting our way out of it. Do not comply. Peacefully do not comply here now. Jill Stein. I know Jill Stein. I get it, but take a listen to what she had to post. She said, whether you supported Massey or not, leave the pro-Aardvark AIPAC-funded corporate-controlled Democrat and Republican parties. They have sold out America. The assault on Massey is just the tip of the iceberg. Indeed. So, yeah, based Jill Stein there. And I get it, Stein, I get it. Okay, continuing here. Barney Frank died today. Former Representative Barney Frank, champion of Wall Street reform and gay rights trailblazer, dies at age 86. The most prominent gay member of Congress of his generation, the Democrat, represented Southern Massachusetts in the House for more than 30 years. At least he was open about being gay. Better than Lindsey Graham in the closet, right? Because then they blackmail you with it. But he was up to some shady business there as well. Let's take a look at this clip posted by Patrick Howley. In August 1989, amid the Bush PDF scandal, news broke that Barney Frank had a gay prostitution ring in his brownstone home in D.C. when he was sitting as a member of Congress. The scandal became known as Project Brownstone due to allegations of CIA brownstoning blackmail ops. Where have we heard this before? Well, I'm sure nothing like that would ever happen. Let's watch this report.
And into Congressman Barney Frank's bedroom.
Barney Frank, one of two openly homosexual members of Congress, acknowledged having used a male prostitute, whom he then hired as a personal employee. The man had keys to Frank's basement apartment on Capitol Hill. Frank paid him approximately $20,000 out of his own pocket to be his housekeeper and driver. But as first reported in today's Washington Times, the man was on probation for sex crimes and a drug conviction, and he ran a prostitution business out of Frank's home.
Although Frank tried to claim ignorance, Stephen Goby, the prostitute in question, claimed that Frank was completely aware of what was going on, and was even receiving free and discounted sexual services. The fix seemed to be in. Frank was threatening members of Congress to remain silent prior to being exposed in this sex ring.
Massachusetts Democrat Barney Frank, a homosexual, threatened to expose fellow congressmen he knew to be gay unless they stopped spreading rumors.
Questions stopped and Frank walked away with a slap on the wrist. Some members of the Ethics Committee were disgusted.
Do we tolerate, do we condone a member of this body who knowingly permits a house of prostitution to be operated out of his residence?
You have just heard one of the most edited, selective garbage that has ever been put forth, in my opinion, in this House.
Again, we see people of the highest levels of power involved in the most repulsive and decadent of crimes.
There you go. R.I.P. Barney Frank. And it's not him alone. This wasn't a lone incident. This is Washington, D.C. It's all of them, you see, in large part. Maybe Massey wasn't involved in that. You know what I mean? That's why he got to go. Go do something, feds. Here's a senator out of Missouri, Josh Hawley. He says we cannot sit by and allow children to be trafficked when Congress can provide the resources to rescue them now. Take a look at this presentation by the senator.
These red dots represent the IP addresses of individuals who have shared child rape images in just the last 6 months. There are 338,000 dots on that map. Let me say that again.
We don't have enough wood chippers.
38,000 dots of known instances where a predator has shared, posted to the internet images of child rape, child abuse, child sexual exploitation. The number of child exploitation reports last year increased to 20.5 million in this country. 20 million reports of child exploitation, the vast majority of those tied to online child exploitation. Interpol estimates that there are 90,000 images that the government has of child rape, child exploitation, child sexual abuse, but where we don't know who the child is or where she is. 90,000 of these images. But we don't know where they are. Mr. President, we don't know how to rescue them.
I don't believe that. They can read your freaking license plate from outer space, allegedly, and you guys can't track this down. I believe if they really wanted to put the resources into it, they could, but they're the ones running, in large part, these rackets.
This is the crisis that is increasingly confronting every American family. Every family with children faces the risk that their child, when they log on, when they post something on the web, when they get a phone, that they will be solicited by a predator, that they will be lured into a dangerous situation by a predator, that they will themselves be trafficked, children taken from their homes, children lured away and kidnapped, children forced into sex slavery all across this country. We know they're out there. We can see the images, but we don't know how to find them. And the internet has made this a crisis all across the country. It has made it a pressing crisis for every family in America. The truth is, while child abuse is sadly a long-standing phenomenon, child predation and child trafficking now is fed and nourished and nurtured by social media, by companies who know that these images are being posted and don't do anything about it, by the purveyors of online platforms who allow their entire platform to be taken over and essentially run as a child trafficking ring. Yeah, the internet has made it much, much worse. It has made it a crisis. It has brought this problem to the doorstep of every family in this country. And the question that I want to ask today, Mr. President, is what are we going to do about it?
I cannot believe that the government can't track it down. If they really wanted to, they could. JP Morgan executive sues for defamation after sex slave allegations. These allegations are entirely false, malicious, and fabricated, and were concocted for the improper purpose of personal enrichment at the expense of defendants and others. Remember this reported on these two. Allegedly, it was this psychopath, her JP Morgan executive, in an odd case of a woman abusing a man. What was he saying? She was giving him hard on drugs or whatever, and was what he alleged, and then went on to essentially rape him or force him threatening his job and career prospects if he wasn't her sex slave. And now she's suing, saying that's defamation. But aren't all these banking executives a bunch of psychopaths, men, women, and whatever other you want to identify as? I do believe we're coming to learn that the large majority of them are straight up psychopaths. And it fits right in the profile that this is their behavior. Why don't you trust the government? I don't know. Good meme here with Massey on it. I don't know. Because redacted. So, yeah. I don't know. Just trust the government, bro. Everything's redacted for your own safety, for national security. So, yeah, Epstein reporting, not much new today on the Epstein case. We'll continue to report on it. But we're still waiting for these, for more depositions. I don't know what much we're going to get out of these depositions. We haven't seen the public release. I don't believe, I checked earlier today, I didn't see the public release of the alleged last prison guard to see Epstein alive. Was deposed yesterday. I don't know what much we got out of that. I didn't see much reporting about it, so probably not much. We'll continue to follow Epstein story as it develops, as the DOJ continues to cover it up. So we'll keep following that story for you here at Weaponized News. Continuing. Oh, here's a crazy one. This is like bait, right? This is like bait. It's what they call bait on the internet. House candidate Maureen Galindo pledges to send American Zionists to internment camps. So this is what we call bait, right? Seriously? Despite a growing storm of criticism, including from members of her own party, the San Antonio Democrat insists she's not anti-Semitic. And again, we have the whole if you're against Zionism, you're anti-Semitic, and they conflate whatever your Orthodox aardvarks with the Zionist, and the Orthodox aardvarks make it clear they're not with the Zionists. So is it anti-Semitic? That's what they're trying to sell us. But again, talk to the Orthodox aardvarks, and they say not so much. So she says that she will put American Zionists, and she'll turn Kearns ICE Detention Center into a prison for American Zionists and former ICE officers for human trafficking. It will also be a castration processing center for PDFs, which will probably be most of the Zionists. Wowzers. And so, I don't know. You tell me. Seems like a lot of truth there, but also seems like a whole lot of bait as well. It may gain traction in Texas. I don't know. If is this a Democrat we can get behind? I don't know. But some bold rhetoric there. Out of San Antonio, Democrat Maureen Galindo. All right, let's take our live commercial break, and then we'll come back and get into the economic section of the show. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com/shop. Get yourself a holograph sticker over there. You have holograph stickers, white background stickers, and clear background stickers. 3 different stickers at weaponizednews.com/shop. The link's in the description below. We got the stickers. We got a few books over there at the shop. t-shirts, baseball caps, coffee mugs, bunch of gear, different items over there. weaponizednews.com/shop. Help support independent reporting and analysis, brought to you 5 days a week, broadcasting live, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern time. weaponizednews.com/shop. Become a patron to the store. Become a donor. We accept donations as well. Buy me a coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, Cash App, links all in the description below this video. Weaponizednews.com has a secure PayPal link right on the front page, easy to find. It says donate, push that button. Become a paid subscriber of Weaponized News Substack. We give everything away free here, nothing behind a paywall ever. You can show your support for the show and our efforts over here to expose the fact that everything's being weaponized against us, and we're increasingly facing this tyranny we may never be able to defeat as they're building out the one world government technocracy in our face. Become a paid subscriber of Weaponized News Substack. We provide you the full show over there. We provide you a summary of the show, a write-up there, like 4 or 5, 6 paragraphs. You can read over that and see if the content interests you to watch the full show, and the links to everything, almost everything we talk about at Weaponized News Substack. It's all free, but show your appreciation for the show and the value we're providing you there for documentation and research purposes. All those links at Weaponized News Substack. Become a paid subscriber. It's free. Any which way you choose to support us is much appreciated. Give us that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. All of that is free for you. As we just went through an hour of hard news, commercial free. Not many shows do that. I'm going to have to start plugging more here, like every 15 minutes or something. But for now, give you an hour of a whole lot of news with no commercials at all. So any which way you choose to support us is truly appreciated. Give me that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. All of that is free for you. Thank you to the patrons of the store, the subscribers, and the donors. It is truly appreciated. Welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 edition. Now we're moving on to the economic section of the show, and more grifting, scams, schemes, and corruption out of Trump. Here he's posting on his True Social some advertisements. Trump shares ads for Freak and Steak. Yeah. Promoting the Bread and Circus Ultimate Fighting Cage match set to take place on the White House lawn. We're literally in idiocracy at this point. Turns out Terminator and Idiocracy were documentaries, and Trump's proving both to be the case here now. U.S. national debt, official debt, it's not even counting the shadow money that's been lost that Catherine Austin Fitts talks about, right? What is it, 21 trillion that just went bye-bye in black budget government programs, God only knows, building underground bases, secret space programs, buying a bunch of cocaine. Who knows? We don't know. The money's gone, right? So we really don't know. But whatever evil you could think of, I'm sure they thought of something 100 times worse, and they're spending that missing money on it. So, and that's not even counting unfunded liabilities as well. But the official U.S. national debt here now has surpassed $39 trillion, adding approximately $5 billion a day since October of last year. This is not sustainable. At some point, And you saw reported what the U.S. Treasury bonds are paying upwards of 5% here now for a 30-year Treasury bond. And so they're trying to offer incentive to buy the debt as it becomes less attractive to institutional investors, because everybody can see, hey, at some point in time, the chairs are going to stop, right? The musical chairs are going to stop on this debt ship. And who knows? That'll probably kick off the actual hot World War III when all that happens. So, yeah, yay! Fiscal conservatives. I'm so old. I remember back in the day when conservatives used to at least talk out of both sides of their mouth. It was concerning that they were like, "Look at the national debt. It's getting what." I forget even what it was like. What, 8 trillion or something? I can't even remember. Like 8 trillion under Obama at the very beginning of his administration, something like this. Anyway, it was a lot then. It was in the trillions, maybe double-digit trillions. I'd have to check to give you the exact number. Anyway, it used to be a thing where people were like, "Wow, we need to cut back on government spending because this debt's getting out of control." Now it's just like, "Oh yeah, golden age, freaking golden dome, more foreign aid to aardvark land. Let's blow up the world, yeah, America." And it's like, no, bro, this is not sustainable. Sorry to tell you. 39 trillion now. And that's reported out of Fortune magazine. Fortune magazine, they're giving us the hard doom and gloom as it is, honestly. Pretty good for mainstream financial reporting that I've seen out there. Fortune magazine, I'll give them credit for that. But yeah, 39 trillion, just, yeah, MAGA. Dude, the party's going to come to an end here at the time of the bankers choosing, and we are not going to like it one bit. Yeah, government spend, kill all the terrorists. That ain't it, bro. I'm telling you, we're in bad shape here in the economy, and many people see it. But yeah, our favorite clock here, the U.S. debt clock. Take a look at that. Ticking as fast as the eye can see, right? You can't even look. Like, that's as fast as racking up how much economic burden we're taking on. We'll get to later in this section of the Iran war. But oh yeah, that's part of it too. U.S. national debt, all the wars financed by debt. We couldn't even be in any of these wars if we didn't have the private central bank, Federal Reserve, fiat, debt-based monetary system. That's why we need to bring back sound money to put the government in check, so we can't wage these never-ending wars. A major piece of it is the Federal Reserve System. We couldn't be the global hegemon here now. At the end, right? We're sunsetting the global empires we'll get to. We're in a new era, a new world order. China and Russia having big meetings. We need to bring back sound money, put the issuance of currency and credit back underneath the Treasury Department, and that's the solution to a big solution to the never-ending war and imperial nature of the U.S. federal government. It's just, oh yeah, mega, oh. 39 trillion plus. And again, not even counting the missing trillions and unfunded liabilities. The economy's great, bro. Trump told me it's the golden age. Well, it turns out Intuit are some dirty bastards, let me tell you. I used to like them as an accountant with their QuickBooks accounting software. Back in the day, it used to be a viable solution for small businesses. Not so much anymore. They put everybody on the subscription plan. They won't even let you buy and own their accounting software anymore. You have to buy it. You could go online, pay the monthly subscription. If you buy the desktop version, you have to pay every year, or they cut you off the updates and slowly cut you off to the point where it doesn't even work, as per a bunch of other softwares out there. That is the new industry standard. But I used Intuit QuickBooks software as doing accounting for small businesses, and it's like not even a viable solution anymore. Well, it turns out Intuit, the great liars that they are, they also do that TurboTax, and they run the scam. If you ever used TurboTax before, I did way back in the day when it first came out, and they're like, "Oh, it's free." I'm like, "Okay, it's free. I'll go check out this new tax software." Yeah, it's free to file your federal, but not your state, and they won't let you file it. You got to file both federal and state. So but they don't tell you that part until it's time to push the button. They're like, "Oh yeah, you got to pay us now." I thought it was free. Not for your state. And so a very underhanded, dishonest company, honestly, outsourcing all of this to the third world. Intuit is laying off about 17% of its workforce, or 3,000 employees worldwide. Intuit's a dirty bastard of a company, let me tell you. So yeah, the economy's great, bro. In the U.S., CEO pay grew 20 times faster than that of workers' wages last year, according to a report of Oxfam. Is this true? I don't know, probably. The resume is dying as hiring shifts towards skills, portfolios, and real work proof, according to a report out of Forbes magazine. Yeah, maybe. Here's some good news for all you MAGA Trumpers that love corruption out there. Trump and his sons will be exempt from tax audits forever, according to a report out of the Financial Times. I think we reported that yesterday. That's part of the racketeering that Trump's doing there, where part of the deal, he'll back off suing if he basically gets to become above the law. And so I'm actually okay with this, but hey, let's abolish the IRS. Why don't you campaign on that, Trump? Nah, can't do that. It's just for him because he loves the American people so much. So him and his family and his companies are exempt, but the rest of us, hey, they're going to freaking turn the screw on you if you don't report freaking 1 cent of income to the IRS. But them, oh, they're exempt. They're our betters. Man of the people, Trump, exempt forever from IRS audits. Here's Robert Garcia exposing some more Trump corruption. I don't know why he's mad. Everybody voted for Kushner, didn't they? Yeah, that's what I voted for, Kushner. Take a look at this short video from Robert Garcia.
We know that Donald Trump's illegal and costly war in Iran is costing the American public over $1 billion a day. And as Americans struggle, the Trump family is getting richer. We know that Jared Kushner got $2 billion from the Saudis for an investment fund. Since then, more and more Gulf states continue to pour money into this fund, while Jared Kushner travels through the Middle East, travels the world, representing our country, the administration, and the president. This is incredibly reckless. It's incredibly unethical.
And let me throw in, he's either a complete failure or it's a great victory, because he's went around and negotiated Russia, Ukraine. They're still in a war, killing the hell out of each other. And he failed at negotiating any kind of deal with Iran because we are on day 82 of a war with Iran. So how do you keep your job if your job is really to negotiate peace? All of these wars continue and are escalating in some cases here now. So Jared Kushner, it seems that his job was actually to start wars or keep them going rather than negotiate peace deals, right? It's certainly what it appears to. So the war profiteers, Trump and his whole crew, can become unworldly wealthy at the expense of the rest of us. Isn't it also wonderful?
And clearly points to major signs of corruption. We know that Jared Kushner is becoming much more wealthy. Donald Trump is wealthier than he's ever been. The Trump family continues to profit. We've got to ensure that we take on Trump family corruption. And what the Trump family needs to know is that oversight Democrats are committed. We are committed to ensuring.
Isn't it the same bullshit though? Biden did the same thing. I mean, it's just like, oh. But Trump's taking it to a new level of corruption here now.
That every single one of these schemes is going to be investigated. We're going to have hearings, and we're going to ensure that we share all the information to the public so that they understand that this corruption can never happen again. And that
wait till Newsom gets in there. He'll one up Trump's corruption. So we haven't seen nothing yet with these corrupt bastards profiteering off of death and destruction, calling themselves our public servants. Trump issued an executive order yesterday restoring integrity to America's financial system. It's literally laughable. Again, if he was Mr. America and all the BS that they sold us that he is, which he's not, he's a complete total fraud, the first thing he would do is go down, you take the U.S. Marshals and go arrest the heads of every major Wall Street bank and shut down the Federal Reserve. If he was Mr. America, he's not. He's just as corrupt as all the rest of them. So it's literally laughable because restoring integrity to America's financial system. Executive order issued yesterday by Trump. Nothing even really significant. They're trying to lock out illegals from the banking system. I guess they can't. Yeah. Nothing really that exciting here about it. No panicins. Meme of the day out of the White House. No panicins.
Ignore the panicins and trust in President Trump.
We miss bobblehead lady there. I hope she comes back from her maternity leave soon and tells us some more lies. We haven't had enough lies out of the White House, have we? AP poll here now says that presidential job approval ratings down to 37%. I don't know who these 37% are. Probably all work for the government or strung out on the War Channel, Fox News. I don't know. But this is the economic situation in this country is getting worse by the day. The state of the economy, percentage of U.S. adults who describe the U.S. economy these days as good or poor. You can see we're at, and this was as of April 16th. So we had like a month lag on this data as compared to today, right? And things are only getting more expensive. 73% said the economy's in poor condition. And so I don't know who these other 27% are, what economy they're living in, not the economy I'm living in. So I don't know how, honestly, Republicans win the midterm elections with 73% of the country saying the economy is in poor shape. So if the Republicans do win the midterms, you know something is totally rigged here now. Continuing. Oh, yeah. One of the favorites of the day here, as we continue to report, the AAA national average for the price of a gallon of gasoline. It's up to $4.55. We'll just round up 56 cents here now. And again, the cost is passed through to the consumer for everything that's transported via diesel. So up 2 cents from yesterday, you could see right there. And so, yeah, thankfully, Galrain beat Massey because that's what really matters, not the price of fuel and the price of your groceries. Here's the Brown University Watson School of International and Public Affairs Iran War Energy Cost Tracker. that we continue to reference because the price is going up. Today's an extra special price there. Per U.S. household, we got a lot of threes there. Illuminati calms. Maybe this should trigger you to be, I don't know, anti-war, dare I say. So, yeah, adding up diesel and gasoline, the average cost per household now due to the Iran war starting February 28, 2026 is up to $333.31. And you could see the total here going as fast as the national debt. Total consumer burden since the start of the war, 43.7. They did a little rounding up there. $1 billion, as you can see. And it's ticking away. And so I guess, yeah, America, we love it. We just love that burden because of Trump propaganda and lies about we're going to be nuked in 2 weeks. We just love it, don't we? Politico reports world has 6 months to avert major food crisis, says UN, as Hormuz struggle drags on. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz is not a temporary disruption, but the start of a systemic shock to global food prices, the UN Food Agency said today. Millions of people are going to starve to death in the third and fourth worlds because of this, cutting off food shipments, fertilizer, and other inputs into agricultural and food production. You better believe it. And tens of millions of others in the third and fourth world are going to be plunged further into poverty due to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. And maybe the only good thing out of all of this is it's slowing down the technocracy a little bit because the inputs for all of their microchips and the rest of their data centers is in large part, a lot of inputs have to pass through the Strait of Hormuz there now. So backhandedly, it is slowing down technocracy a little bit, but the price for it is millions of people starving to death. How about we don't build this technocracy, AI data centers everywhere, and how about we don't realize Terminator as a documentary? We could also do that, you know? That wouldn't be a bad idea. We could just not do that program and have all the broligarchs become They're already gazillionaires. They don't even know what to do with all their fiat debt-based currency. What do you even do with it? Buy another child slave? You know what I mean? It's like, how about we just don't do that program and use all of their ill-gotten gains to go ahead and feed all these starving people? That would be the righteous thing to do. Of course, these demons will never do that because Bill Gates, as we reported earlier, has to fund genetically modified tick program for $7 million plus because that's what the world really needs. Yeah, all over the Department of War is like, yeah, we just kill everybody. It's like, wow, it's just disgusting, despicable behavior. And all this is going to blow back on us. You can't run around acting like a tyrant and yelling, I'm going to kill everybody every day, all day, and calling everybody terrorists all day, every day, and don't think it's not going to come back on us. Because it is. It's called blowback. We haven't seen nothing yet, man. But here's meme of the day again out of the White House. Enemies of America neutralized by Donald J. Trump. Well, they're his enemies. They're not my enemy. But now I'm their enemy because of this asshole. Right? He put targets on all our backs because of this shit. Maduro arrested. They kidnapped the dude. Khomeini, they whacked him. Now, yeah, good job, idiots. Now you've unified and radicalized the Iranian people against us. great job. This Al-Qaeda guy, he worked for you. Shut up, liars. And now they indicted, what is a 94-year-old Castro. Give me a freaking break. On to U.S. Southern Command. They're rolling. Is Skynet live? I think we're pretty close. I think probably it is here now. U.S. Southern Command put out this post. They say future of warfare. Southcom's Autonomous Warfare Command is leading the effort to synchronize autonomous and unmanned systems to strengthen security in the Western Hemisphere and protect the homeland. Skynet, anyone? SAWC is working closely with the War Department's Defense Autonomous Warfare Group, DoW, to integrate cost-effective autonomous platforms and systems to enhance U.S. and partner nation all-domain awareness, operation capabilities, and geographic access to better counter cartels and narco-terrorists. All that sounds well and good until they point the finger at you and say, you're the narco-terrorist. And they point the finger at me and say, I'm a narco-terrorist. I don't want anything to do with their damn drugs, legal or illegal. Screw you guys, man. You're running this whole racket and you're killing people and saying you care about my health. No, you're murderers. It's disgusting. And they're going to turn all this on us. I'm telling you. So cheer. Yeah, USA. We love the military killing people. It's all for us, bro. Meme of the day out of the Department of War. The most lethal fighting force in the world. Yeah, they certainly know how to kill people. Not really something to brag about. Again, more evidence here now that if Skynet's not already live, we're very close. Out of the Department of War, they say the CDAO is launching the GenAI.mil task force, a 180-day pilot to weaponize AI as combat power. The Department of War saying they're weaponizing AI. That's Skynet. Can it become self-aware? I don't know. But they're weaponizing AI. Here it is. This should concern everyone extremely. Weaponize AI as combat power. That's your Department of War. Extremely concerning, to say the least. I'm the only one even reporting on this. This post by the Department of War has freaking 13 shares. I'm literally the only one even reporting on this, looking up for drones like Trump. We should be extremely concerned about this development that they're publicly announcing weaponized AI as combat power. More out of the Department of War. Panel 3, the asymmetric edge, lethal AI and autonomy in special operations. This session brought together Department of War leadership and industry partners to discuss the integration of AI and autonomous systems into the Special Operations Enterprise. Their panel focused on scaling autonomous capabilities, strengthening the defense industry base, and leveraging data as a decisive weapon system in modern conflict. From research and engineering to strategic investment in supply chains, the discussion highlighted how the U.S. continues to complete and lead in the era of software-defined warfare. They're bragging. They got all these government workers hopped up on their AI systems. a year ago, we had an average of 80,000 users of AI across the department, the War Department, a department of 3 million. Today, we have about 1.5 million users, just to show you the parabolic scale of how we're starting to use it. Oh, yeah. Very exciting there. All hopped up on AI at the Department of War. It's extremely, extremely concerning. They're going to get those damn commies in Cuba, let me tell you. They indicted old brother of Fidel Castro, father of former prime minister out of Canada, Trudeau, right? Allegedly on the internet. Anyhow, Raul Castro today was indicted by the Department of Justice. And so they're settling some real old scores here now. The Department of Justice unsealed a murder and conspiracy indictment against Raul Castro over the 1996 shoot down of two brothers to a rescue aircraft. That's a pretty old score to settle here now, but they've done it. And is this a pretext to go ahead and invade Cuba, where they're under months long energy blockade, trying to foment a revolution there by the people against the government of Cuba by starving them out. They have no money, they have no oil, they have no food, Trump said. Because of the dirty commie government. No, actually, because U.S. blockade against them, but what the hell. Looks like we're going to go into Cuba and grab this dude, a la Maduro. So, yeah, we're going to get this old man. He'll probably have a heart attack. Is he 94 years old, I believe? That's a big threat to America. Raul Castro in Cuba. Let's hear now from the cover-up artists covering up the Epstein files, because that's indicting 94-year-olds out of Cuba is a priority here for America. Let's hear from old Blanche, acting director of the DOJ, and again, proudly covering up the Epstein files.
Today, we are announcing an indictment charging Raul Castro and several others with conspiracy to kill.
Sounds like he's a conspiracy theorist.
U.S. nationals.
And of course, that's in Florida. All these Cubans that don't like Raul Castro, obviously, they don't give a damn about America. It's about settling grudges for them. None of our business, really, but I guess we have to build a greater North America project, as we've been told by the Department of War. And sorry, Cuba, you're in the way. So whatever excuse we can make, real or fabricated, it don't matter. So U.S. Justice Department says U.S. unseals superseding indictment charging Raul Castro and 5 Castro regime co-defendants for the 1996 shoot-down of brothers to the rescue aircraft. For the first time in nearly 70 years, senior leadership of the Cuban regime has been charged in the United States for alleged acts of violence resulting in the deaths of American citizens. President Trump and his Justice Department are committed to restoring a simple principle: if you kill Americans, we will pursue you, no matter who you are, no matter what title you hold. Todd Blanche said. Well, look in the mirror there, bro, because Operation Warp Speed took out millions of Americans, and you're president over there loves it. So why don't you guys take a look at that? Oh, you can't because you're corrupt, lying pieces of garbage. Oh, I understand. Excuse me. Excuse me. So that's going on. I don't know. I guess we'll go kidnap them because we have to serve justice. They're on Castro in Cuba, and that'll be a pretext. And if they shoot back, then hey, bomb the hell out of Cuba. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Cuba anytime. Looks like they're prepping for some type of kidnap op there, or who knows what they'll do this time. Maybe just bomb the hell out of the whole island. Who knows? Complete lunatics are in charge at the Department of War, so they'll literally do anything. But we're in a new era, in a new world order, as we continue to report here to you for what, the last 2.5 years, 3 years now, almost at this point. So Chinese President Xi and Russian President Putin pledged new era against Western unilateralism. And so they had a big meeting. Chinese President Xi and Russian President Putin, the most evil man in the world, YouTube, pledged to deepen strategic coordination, expand economic cooperation, and push against Western dominance in global affairs during a meeting they had earlier today. Putin said Moscow and Beijing would keep coordinating positions in the G20, World Trade Organization, World Bank, International Monetary Fund, and New Development Bank. And what was Trump? Trump's such a fool, man. He said, yeah, I saw their meeting and the intro and all that, and mine was better in China. It's just, what? Who even thinks of this stuff? Not like, hey, we should be concerned, and because Russia and China are like joined at the hip now, and all of our global hegemony, imperialism around the world is pushing the rest of the world into their arms, i.e. soft power transfer to the east, i.e. new era, new world order. Like maybe instead of going around pointing guns in everybody's face and shooting them, we would take a clue from China and do a soft power approach. No, America's do what we say or we shoot you in the face. America. And it's like, dude, that's played out. Gangster capitalism way played out. The rest of the world's sick of it. And so now we turn them against us. Good job. Good job. Of course, we will continue to closely coordinate our positions, Putin said, adding that both sides aim to align the Eurasian Economic Union, Greater Eurasian Partnership. That Simon was the first to report here in the West that I ever saw that he went on and on about, because it's a major development there. And so reported to you here first at Weaponized News via Simon, 2 years ago here now. Nobody else in the Western media would even talking about it at the time, because Simon's such a nerd. He's over there, and he's like, dude, I remember when I was working with him. He's like, here's a transcript from the Chinese meeting translated into English. Here's a transcript from the Russian meeting translated into English. And when I'm translating it, like, nobody else is even doing this in Western media, for God's sake. Anyhow, that's some of the value here that we afford you at Weaponized News, calling this a very, very long time ago, because we're simply translating the meetings into English and telling you what they're saying. And they've been saying this for years already here now. This is the most recent meeting, though. Who is this more? Or some statements from Xi. Xi said China-Russia ties are in line with the demands of time and have reached an all-time high in their all-encompassing partnership and strategic interaction. We will move forward steadily, confidently, and relentlessly, achieving new great heights, Xi said. Putin said cooperation between Moscow and Beijing has kept strong momentum despite unfavorable external factors. The comprehensive partnership and strategic interaction between Russia and China in the new era is a model for intergovernmental relations in the modern world, Putin said. Xi described the relationship as unyielding, saying both sides had deepened political mutual trust and strategic coordination. The two leaders also discussed the U.S. aardvark land war on Iran, with Xi saying a comprehensive ceasefire is of utmost urgency. Resuming hostilities is even more inadvisable, and maintaining negotiations is particularly important. A joint Kremlin statement later warned of a danger of fragmentation of the international community and a return to the law of the jungle. China and Russia still want to run everything through the UN. We've essentially told the UN F off. The World Economic Forum, the World Government Summit, and the Munich Security Council, all the Western heads coming out of those meetings, as we reported, said the international rules-based order is freaking over, bro. You know what I mean? So, and that was all earlier this year. China and Russia still want to run everything through the old international order at the UN. It's not really working out so much here now, at least under the Trump administration. At least under the Trump administration. So what is going to happen with Taiwan? I don't know. Trump says he said the right thing about Taiwan, that we can't travel halfway around the world and defend some tiny island. That is the correct position for America here now. But hey, aardvark land will friggin' fly to outer space, go to hollow earth and everywhere in between to defend their evil. I mean, it's just like, wow, man. A little bit more. Let's see. The failing New York Times reported out of their meetings there that Trump's Beijing visit highlighted the uneasy balance between political warmth and deep rivalry in U.S.-Chinese ties, with Trump praising Xi as a friend, while disputes over trade, military ambitions, Iran, tariffs, and Beijing's ties with Russia and North Korea continue to strain relations. The report frames the summit as heavy on symbolism, but shaped by mistrust, noting that Xi views the United States as China's main systemic rival. So, yeah, we got a bunch of clips, but it's all translated, so not really that great. That was about the highlights. I did not see anywhere out there them specifically reference the Greater Eurasian Partnership, but that may be in the notes of these meetings, which is where you find the real deal, right? Read the transcript of the meeting, and that's where you find the real deal. But we'll have to see what China and Russia put out. I don't think they put out. And remember, we've showed you on this show translating the Russian. It's hard to even get the freaking Russian website to load. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'll keep a lookout for that. I'll hit up Simon and see if, because he's probably following it closer than I am. And I'll hit them up and see if they did mention the Greater Eurasian Partnership. I haven't seen any reporting with that specific language in it. Also part of the meeting, they're touting the Russia-China relationship year of education officially starts. Xi said, the world is far from being calm. Damage imposed by unilateral actions and hegemony. He's talking to us. Threatens to bring us back to the law of the jungle. UN Security Council members, Russia and China, to show themselves as responsible world powers. It's embarrassing now. We look like fools on the global stage. Russia and China are looking like the adults in the room. Sorry to report to you here now. I wish this wasn't the case, but it is. International relations of a new kind and multipolar world establishment were discussed by Xi and Putin. It was a deeply productive round of negotiations, both parties said. Of course, state media out of China, the South China Morning Post said the two, in regards to this meeting, a clear threat to strategic stability and the implementation of the Golden Dome would have serious negative consequences for international security. Talking about the Golden Dome system that Trump's going to fleece American taxpayers for 1.2 trillion with a T trillion, 1.2 trillion dollars. And if they ever did bid this thing and it actually did work, I still like the analysis out of Joel Skousen that U.S. will stand down and let Russia and China strike us. That's out there. Joel Skousen put that out there a long time ago, and then that will be used as the means to bring about one world government. We'll stand down, allow major bombings from whatever weapons Russia and China have to take out much or a lot of the United States, and then we'll have to come together then and say, hey, we can't have this devastation. We have to have one world government. It's a possibility. That theory by Joel Skousen is out there. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but could happen. Could happen. The Golden Dome just seems like a giant scam. 1.2 trillion. How about stop pissing everybody off to the point where they're going to freaking launch everything they got at us? How about that one? No, we can't do that. We can't do that, can we? Look, how about we just shake hands and be friends? No, not so much. We're building the Golden Dome. Joint Nigeria-U.S. strikes kill 175 Islamic State group fighters. France 24 reports. So we whacked the hell out of a bunch of Islamic State fighters there in Nigeria, keeping the Christians safe. Trump don't give a damn about Christians. Are you stupid? He's a dark occultist Satanist. Give me a break. But the excuse, we're protecting the Christians in Nigeria. So we're killing all of these 175 Islamic State militants, which the West funded, trained, and radicalized somewhere along the line here now. And this is another spin-off group of said operation. We just run around whack. That's that guy, Nigerian forces head, Abu Bilal al Minuki. That's that dude, the meme of the day from that Trump's bragging about whacking the IS leader over there in Nigeria. do we even have any kind of, do we have a government? Do we have a Congress? Still waiting on to check Trump's war powers here now. U.S. Senate advances resolution to curb Trump's Iran war powers. The U.S. Senate voted 50 to 47 yesterday to advance a resolution introduced by Democrat Senator Tim Kaine. Remember, he was Hillary Clinton's running mate. Well, you're a big problem why Trump's in there because you're such a loser the first time around, Tim Kaine. Anyway, maybe he's trying to make up for a little bit here. Tim Kaine, that would require Trump to obtain explicit congressional authorization before continuing U.S. military hostilities against Iran. The measure passed with the support of 4 Republicans: Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, and Bill Cassidy. Bill Cassidy just voted that way because he's pissed off that he got primaried there in Louisiana. Is going to lose his Senate seat. Is the only reason he voted that way. Well, Democrat John Fetterman voted against it. So John Fetterman should just go ahead and change parties to the Aardvarkland party and call it a day there, because he's a great Zionist supporter. The resolution is still a procedural step and must pass the full Senate vote before moving to the House of Representatives. Even if approved by both chambers of Congress, Trump could veto it, as he did with a similar war powers resolution in 2019. Democrats say the administration bypassed Congress by launching military action without a formal declaration of war, while administration officials argue that the current ceasefire has paused the 60-day war powers clock. Lawyers playing semantical games with the world's economy and people starving to death. Don't you just love Washington, D.C. corruption? On to, well, they're building the greater Aardvarkland project, so they're taking swaths of Syria as part of that program. As we continue to report, Aardvarkland occupation forces intensified attacks in southern Syria, shelling farmland, carrying out repeated incursions into agricultural areas and populated villages in Quintara and Dara, the New Arab reported. Local sources said Aardvarkland operations have become almost daily, spreading panic among residents and farmers who fear a wider Aardvarkland escalation. The attacks now threaten the agricultural season, the main source of income for families in the border region. The Syrians, they don't even have an excuse to attack Syria, do they? I don't think so. Syria hasn't attacked Aardvarkland. But they're just like, yeah, it's our land. Our evil God said so, so we're killing everybody and taking it. That's where we're at. Quite literally insane. Anybody that supports this is immoral and evil. And the leveling of southern Gaza continues. Here's bombings there in southern Lebanon earlier today. You can see the smoke off in the distance. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. Here's some video of a major attack there. Aardvark warplanes drop bombs on southern Lebanese village, Kafra. Leveling the place. Ethnic cleansing program going on there. A relentless campaign of Aardvarkland artillery and aerial bombardment has continued across southern Lebanon, inflicting widespread damage across dozens of frontline villages. The assault opened with a heavy wave of artillery fire that pounded 14 separate towns. And they go through and name them all. I'm not even going to attempt to because I'll butcher the names. Simultaneously, Aardvark land warplanes launched airstrikes targeting 4 villages along a combined area in southern Lebanon countryside, along with combined aerial assault of warplanes and drones that bombed the villages. 2 more villages. Aardvark land later renewed its aggression, and so it's ongoing. And they just name a bunch of these places. They're in southern Lebanon, these villages. They're leveling the place, creating an apocalyptic hellscape all la Gaza Strip. And it goes on, and it goes on. And there's more images here now. These are reports out of the Cradle. Far away from the border, Aardvark land leveled an entire building that was sheltering many families yesterday. Aardvark land murdered 14 people, including 12 members of the same family. That's a report out of Drop Site News. Search operations are ongoing. They can't even find them. They're buried in the rubble. Since March 2nd, the ceasefire, 3,073 Lebanese have been killed and 9,362 have been injured by U.S.-backed Aardvark land attacks on Lebanon, according to Lebanese Ministry of Health. And over 1 million Lebanese displaced. Just stop it. I know they won't. They have a bloodlust. They're driven by the evil that's possessed them. All sides are stacking bodies. Stop it. Aardvark Land Media, Channel 14, reports that Colonel Mir Berman, commander of the 401st Armor Brigade, was seriously wounded in southern Lebanon after a Hezbollah explosive drone penetrated the house he was staying in. So this dude is all injured up. The report also says 8 other soldiers were injured by Hezbollah. There you go. All sides now. And then Aardvark land censors the reports, right? So it's probably even worse for their side, but don't be antiseptic and report on actual casualties and injuries, because it may undermine the war effort there and the ethnic cleansing genocide program. Aardvark, and you're like, but they're still whacking Palestinians, right? Well, yeah, they are. Aardvark land attacks in Gaza have killed more than 880 Palestinians since the so-called ceasefire deal was signed. That's a report of antiwar.com. The Gaza Health Ministry said that since the ceasefire deal was signed, 881 Palestinians have been killed and 2,621 have been wounded, a total of more than 3,500 Palestinian casualties. A number of victims are still under the rubble. Yeah. So the death toll is certain to increase, because who knows how many people are under the rubble, and we'll never even be able to count those poor souls that got vaporized, right? France summons Aardvark land ambassador over Ben Gvir's treatment of global Samud flotilla activists, France summoned Aardvarkland's ambassador to express its indignation over the treatment of French citizens aboard the global Samud humanitarian aid flotilla, delivering the evil baby formula to starving babies in Gaza. The actions of Mr. Ben-Gvir, National Security Minister, toward the passengers of the global Samud flotilla, condemned even by his own colleagues in the Aardvarkland government, are unacceptable, France said. Whatever one may think of this flotilla, and we have repeatedly expressed our disapproval of this initiative, our citizens participating in it must be treated with respect and released as soon as possible. The French spokesman said he stressed that ensuring the safety of French nationals remains a constant priority. The global Samud flotilla said Aardvarkland seized all 50 vessels in the aid convoy, which departed from Turkey, carrying 428 participants from 44 countries. And yeah, they were jacked by Aardvarkland in international waters. Let's play this Lego propaganda clip, and then we'll show you video of Ben-Gvir torturing these activists that were trying to feed starving babies. Here's a Lego video about said flotilla.
Flotilla of the brave, sailing through the fire, brave souls on board, carrying hope and desire. They try to stop you, but you still break the wave. Freedom flotilla. The world is watching you say, yeah. They loaded up the ships with food and with aid, risking their lives for the children who starve today. Blockade and the water guns pointed at the chest, but these brave souls said, we're coming! No fear in their chest. Yeah. They call it a threat when you bring milk and bread, while kids are dying from the hunger and the lead. You attack the unarmed, you attack the humane, but every ship you stop just fans the freedom flame. These are the brave souls sailing straight into hell, carrying hope for Gaza, where the innocent fell. Flotilla of the brave! The world is watching you save sacred defense. Sacred defense. We see you. We saw with you.
The Lego videos are winning the propaganda war here now. Here's video of the torture. Footage shows flotilla activists being zip-tied and forced to listen to the Aardvarkland national anthem on repeat. Talk about torture. That was posted by Hotspot on the X. And here's footage. Megatron on the X posted, Aardvarkland Minister of National Security Ben-Gvir attacks a female activist kidnapped in the flotilla and was trying to bring food to Gaza. Welcome to hell. The summer camp is over. And here's video of that encounter.
Free Palestine!
Check it. Nova.
ברוכים הבאים לישראל, אנחנו בעלי הבית. ככה צריך.
Geez, that's an ominous. They're not praying. Like, this is an ominous scene here. Right here, right? Wowzers. With the guys up on top of those containers.
זיכוי, כל המטרה כאן זה לראות שאין אנשים בתהליך.
לא להתרגש מהצעקות שלהם, לא להתרגש.
Ben Gvir, a especially sadistic psychopath there. Arvar Clan Foreign Minister Gideon is desperately trying to repair the severe damage done to Aardvark Land's international image by claiming that National Security Minister Ben Gvir is not the face of Aardvark Land, following the release of a video showing Ben Gvir abusing detained flotilla activists. He said, "You knowingly caused harm to our state in this disgraceful display, and not for the first time. You have undone tremendous professional and successful efforts made by so many people, from IDF soldiers to foreign ministry staff and so many others. No, you are not the face of Aardvark Land." I'm sorry to report to you here now, but he is. Ben Gvir is the face of Aardvark Land. No matter what propaganda and BS spin they put on it, Ben Gvir is the face of Aardvark Land here now. And let's remember his 50th birthday wedding cake. Let's put that up on the screen for you. Remember this, his 50th, what did I say, wedding cake, birthday cake. Anyhow, 50th birthday cake with the noose for the final solution there to hang Palestinian prisoners. Like, what kind of psychopath puts a noose to hang people on their birthday cake? Well, this psychopath's wife gave it to him for his 50th birthday. He's even too much for the Aardvarks. Imagine that. They don't care that he acts this way. They just care that it got internationally exposed that he's acting this way. That's the real problem. The systematic ethnic cleansing and annexation of the occupied West Bank continues. Aardvark Land Army bulldozers have demolished a cement factory in the occupied West Bank, marking the third Palestinian factory destroyed in the last 24 hours there. So they're leveling the whole place and leveling any means of production that may be used to rebuild. Level the cement factory. You're not going to build nothing with cement because we're destroying the cement factory, you see. Aardvark Land settlers expand an illegal outpost built on Palestinian land in the Bedin village south of Hebron in the occupied West Bank. Here's they just set up their own encampments here. They don't own this land. All this is actual terrorism, but hey, they're ultra-Zionist complete maniacs. This, what they're doing there, the settlers, that is your unabashed anarchy where maniacs just go around killing everybody and stealing everything. That's not the nice anarchy. That's the ultra Zionist way, you see. But it's not even anarchy because it's backed up by the state in many cases with IDF guns behind these psychopaths. So we can't even call it anarchy in that regard. Last night, Aardvark land settlers torched vehicles and attempted to set Palestinian homes ablaze in Hal, north of Hebron in the occupied West Bank. Here's some video of that. Cars on fire. There's not even any Hamas in the West Bank. They don't care. They don't care, you see. There's not even a halfway. They're not even making an excuse. They're just like, Judea, Samaria, we own it because our evil God said so. Game over, bro. Truly evil. True evil, the face of evil is right there, backed up by the U.S. Department of War and your president, Donald Trump. Go MAGA. Let's check out the headlines out of Iran International, and we'll wrap up this broadcast. Hope flickers for Iran deal as U.S. awaits Tehran response. U.S. targets Iran $7.7 billion crypto network. Magnitude 4.0 earthquake strikes near Fars province. Iran faces punishment unlike anything in modern history, the White House said. U.S. has all the cards on Iran, White House says. Iran says they got a bunch of cards they haven't even played yet. What is that? Secret weapons, hypersonic missiles, sleeper cells, a whole new navy. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they got nothing. Maybe they got jacked. Trump's right. We won the war 82 times, destroyed their navy, military, all their leaders. Yeah. It's not looking like that's actually the case here now. But yeah, everybody's got all the cards. We're in a Persian standoff in the Strait of Hormuz essentially here now. And we're just waiting for this thing to go hot and heavy once again. Sadly enough. Headlines out of Al Jazeera. Iran says surrender to U.S. an illusion. Diplomacy far wiser than war. Yeah, we already reported on this. I guess we will again. U.S. lifts sanctions on Francesca Albanese. That's the correct thing to do there. Aardvark land brutal treatment of activists should prompt concern for Palestinian detainees. Should, right? You look how you treat this international flotilla aid group from 40 countries. It's not just your dirty Palestinians that nobody cares about that are all terrorists. It's a bunch of Europeans, white people. Yeah. But we know they're Aardvark extremists, supremacists, these ultra-Zionists. We know, right? So they don't give a damn. You're just a dirty goy, same as that dirty Palestinian to them. But this is showing the world one more time on a global stage what they're all about. International outrage mounts over, Ben Gvir's treatment of the activists. We're getting close, right? We're probably already there. The only ally Aardvark land has is the United States. We're getting close. We're getting close because their evil knows no limits. They don't care who they do their evil against. It's easy to look the other way when it's these Palestinians and even the Lebanese, right? Just look the other way. It's over there. I don't care. Now they're doing it to white Europeans who are trying to deliver baby formula. Yeah, they're doing you. Are they going to bring out the dogs for for the sex assault routine operations on these flotilla activists? It honestly wouldn't surprise me at this point. They're so possessed by evil, so hell bent on death and destruction, their bloodlust. Nothing even surprises me that they do anymore. They don't even care what the international implications are because they're that crazy, that possessed by evil. But yet Donald Trump will back them to the end of the earth, U.S. president. And, of course, our War Department as well. So we're complicit in all this evil. Let's pray for peace. Let's pray for peace here now. As everybody says, again, everybody's fingers been on the trigger. Iran's fingers on the trigger. Our fingers on the trigger. Aardvark land's fingers on the trigger. To go hot and heavy again. We need peace. Let's have peace. Probably not going to happen. Let's pray for peace. All right, let's go to the channels and wrap up this broadcast. Did we even broadcast on Odysee? We may not have. Odysee did another. Sorry, Odysee, if you're out there watching, but let me refresh it. Odysee did another update. Are we on Odysee live? We are. Okay. Okay, we are Odysee live. They did a big update over there and changed up the whole format, but it looks like I figured it out, and we are on there. Shout out to Gur, John, and nobody else in the chat there. Well, thank you guys for joining that chat and keeping it going. Let's see here now. Let's see, Bibi's plan is for U.S. soldiers to do the dangerous, if not impossible, task of seizing Iran's uranium. Yeah, well, yeah. Yes, indeed. There. John says, well, Barney Frank's death is long overdue. That Poof ran a call boy operation out of his townhouse in D.C. and then turned around and said, if Congress, if you want to do anything about it, I'm going to expose all your freaking call boy rings. So who else was running it? That's just the one we know about, right? So, yeah. It wasn't only Barney Frank. Better believe that. It's all of them, right? What, 357 members of Congress voted not to expose the sex harassment taxpayer slush fund to pay off victims of Congress. So John says the Zionists and globalist intent on destroying the U.S., so locking them up makes perfect sense. Of course, nothing will come of it given our infiltrated government. Yeah. These suspicious fires in Georgia, Lahaina, Paradise are also certainly the work of our military. Who else has airborne directed energy weapons? Yeah. Trump backs the evil aardvarks because he is also evil, John said. I agree with you 100% there, John. It's quite horrific. Quite horrific. Thank you, guys, for tuning in on Odysee, keeping that chat going. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on Kick, X, Bitchute, Rumble, and YouTube, and Substack as well. Let's go see how hard we were trolled today over on the YouTubes. Shout out to, well, where are we at here? Let's go to YouTube. Shout out to Mac. Does Rumble generate closed captions? I don't know if they do. You still have independent news. In fact, we have far more than before. Stormtrooper said they're on the YouTube. Okay. Oh, I wanted to plug Max. He did a show after. I did see that. He said after Weaponized News, Mac. Yeah, here it is. Let's plug this for Mac right now. His Substack channel. He did after Weaponized News show. Let's plug that for Mac right now. Go over to, there it is, Mac Curry, Substack. Give him a subscription over there. He did after Weaponized News report yesterday. He's putting out reports. So go over there and give Mac a usual listener to Weaponized News. Give him a subscription. Give him a subscribe on the Substack over there. We appreciate your work over there, Mac, and thank you for being a regular listener of Weaponized News. We appreciate it. Okay, Lovely says money should be earned by love rather than greed for the AI. Oh man. Let's see here. Tea Party days. Yeah. Trump killed the Tea Party, basically. They were institutional. There was a battle inside my local Fresno County Tea Party. Establishment Republicans and Ron Paul Republicans was the battle then. And then Trump came along and just killed it all. Basically, it was the finishing nail there. What does Thomas say on the Rumble? He says, come on, man, Bill Gates had... Yeah. Don't be tough on Bill Gates because he's all up in Epstein files talking about how where they're having correspondence. How do we get rid of all the poor people, right? So yeah, don't be too tough on Bill Gates. He's just trying... His life's mission is just to carry out global depopulation, so don't be too rough on him. 600,000 people vanish in U.S. yearly. Where do they all go? They're all fed into meat grinders to drink their blood and eat them? Where did all these people go? Something very, very evil's going on with all these missing people. Do they have like just the demon mouth open a conveyor belt just all day, every day in a deep underground military base feeding people into it? Like, it has to be some type of industrial scale for this many people to be going missing. You know what I mean? I guess in their underground military bases. I don't know. Where are all of these missing people? And if the government really wanted to solve this problem, they could. But hey, we got poor people around the world to bomb. That's more important, you see. Cat orange whistling. They were doing pornographic genocide on Botstein Island. Yeah. Max said, yeah. Phil on the Rumble. Hello, all. Hello, Phil. Thank you for joining us. I'm anti-synthetic. Eric on the YouTube. Yeah. Todd said, I wouldn't get behind any Democrats. I wouldn't get behind any politician. How about that idea? Trump rules. Have fun putting gas in your tank there, buddy. Goofy jackass libtards. Really, bro? Weaponized News is a libtard channel. These trolls are fools. Come up with better insults, trolls. Thomas, quite a few comments there. Thank you for keeping that going. Yeah, the DoW, let's see, did the DoW's been under 50,000 since Bondi had that. Oh, it's over 50 today. There you go, Thomas. Closed at over 50 today. So now we can prosecute the Epstein co-conspirators? The DoW's over 50? No? Oh. So if it's under 50, we can't. If it's over 50, we can't. Can't win here now, can we? No, we can't. Support the Noah Hyde laws, Thomas says. Yeah, well, we got to self-censor, right? I mean, pretty soon we'll be we got to self-censor, put on our mask to shut us up, right? Our little Al-Qaeda mask for the delicate, politically correct sensitivities of internet users. No? Yeah. Denver on the Rumble says Trump's name will forever be synonymous with Gerdanius, and for a good reason. They're both associated with parasites and diarrhea. Oh man, Raul. They say Raul. Cuba's next. We're still butthurt over the Bay of Pigs. They say CIA controls Cuba since day one. Everything else is for world consumption. Dio says they're on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know about that, but maybe. Thomas says they want Cuba because it's named Cube. Could be part of it, right? They do love that black Saturn Satan box. Hemp Car says, what about the Christians in Venezuela, Cuba, Palestine, and Syria? You already know they're just they're goy to be dealt with, right? That's per Aardvark's own ideology. Eric says I'm poor Whitey. Yeah, aren't we all? Quite a few comments there back and forth, keeping it live there. They say, yeah, they filmed, who's that? Amy Goodman, isn't that Democracy Now? Filmed them gunning down people in cemeteries. Jeez. Just going through the comments here. We had an Iranian troll there. They say Iran will F you up this time. Bring it like Man, bring your ground troops. No, dude, we don't want no part of that. Peace, bro. Peace. Trump just a clown with a big mouth. I agree. Thomas is telling people to take their miracle from Trump. It did save the world, so I mean, and then final comment over there on the YouTube. Lovely says they know how much income is increased when there is an eclipse passing by. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. As always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Let's pray for peace. Have a great rest of your Wednesday evening. We will be back here on Thursday for more Weaponized News.